Hello ladies and gentlemen, hope you're having a fantastic day. It's Million Dollar Man Mark bringing you a video about someone in the GG sphere who isn't talked about a whole lot and often gets a free pass from others in regards to how much of a scumbag he is, and that person would be Kevin Kravitz. Yes, George's loyal sidekick since back in the 90s public access days. Kevin is brought up in Discord semi-frequently, and there's been calls from others to make a video exposing Kevin for what he is. A man who has stood by George despite knowing his abuse of Jamie and later revealed rape allegations. A man who has stood by George despite knowing George's constant racism and bigotry has been exposed to the public to see. A man who does all of that despite ridiculing George all the time on Facebook. A man who acts like he's superior to the goons despite being a welfare rat, wifeless, childless loser. A man who makes pedophilia comments frequently on Facebook under the guise of them being funny. And last but not least, a man who strings along a woman just because he loves the attention that she gives him. We'll explore all these further using Kevin's past actions as examples and a plethora of Facebook posts from Kevin himself. I did want to give a big shout out to Matt for compiling these screenshots for me to use throughout the past couple years in Discord. It made things a lot easier. I'll talk about this later on, but Kevin lives on Facebook. That dude posts and shares things at least 10 times a day, every day, regularly, so going back through looking at his stuff was nearly impossible. Anyway, I'll start off with going over Kevin's posts about George. We know Kevin has stuck by George for a long time, but it's also funny that with George's giant ego, Kevin mocks George publicly often and manages to get away with it. Of course, George still gets butthurt and will stop talking to Kevin for a while, but they always kiss and make up. One of Kevin's lame boomer posts. I almost got laid every night. I almost got laid Monday. I almost got laid Tuesday. You're going to notice Kevin puts LOL at a lot of his posts at the end, which is good because if he didn't, I wouldn't know he was attempting to make a joke. George replies to this post, why don't you write a book about your sexual memories? And Kevin says back to him, you wrote your life story. What a great momentous financial windfall that was. Hi Gigi, see you soon. I will give Kevin a minuscule amount of credit. That was a good burn. George's book details all of his sexual memories and they're all extremely embarrassing. I might sell tickets to a planned comedy benefit with George and me and the prices range from $2 to $100. The only difference is that the $2 will get you in the front row while the $100 seats are in the back of the auditorium. LOL. Yeah, I'd pay $2 to sit in the front. Imagine if George did a show with a live audience or went to a comedy club. He'd get heckled, end up calling the person a gay slur and call them the N-word, then storm off. Be like Michael Richards at the Laugh Factory. Tips for life. When a villain hacks your account and all your friends bleed, the trolls gossip over your word and loyalty. Perhaps it's time to reassess your loyalty in these friends, LOL. This was 100% about George. Back when the Phyllis op was going, trolls claimed that Kevin was leaking information to the goons. George bought it and blew up at Kevin for talking to trolls. Yeah, Kevin, maybe you should reassess your loyalty to obese rapists. Okay, so now we're moving into the whole Mary Elizabeth thing. Kevin really shows what an ass he is with her. For those of you that don't know, Mary Elizabeth is a woman who knows Kevin and she claims Kevin is her boyfriend. However, Kevin flirts with her, sends hearts and etc., but privately denies being in a relationship with her. George has said multiple times to Phyllis when it was brought up that Kevin himself says they're not dating. Given what an attention whore Kevin is, I have no doubt he just loves the doting from her and that's why he strings her along. Kevin also acts like a big player and ladies man right in front of her. Now to make matters worse, I'm pretty positive just from listening to Mary Elizabeth talking shit, Mary Elizabeth is a little slow. That's not a slight on her, but here's Kevin playing with the emotions of someone with mild downs and being a public about it. Take a look here. Mary Elizabeth says, Happy Valentine's Day everyone, especially my Kevin, XOXO. Keep in mind these screenshots are from this year and last year. This crap goes on to this day. I love you so much, my Kevin. I am right here by your side. Don't forget that, baby. And in response to that post, Kevin said, Love you too, Mary, from Kevin, XOX. Mary responds, Thinking of you, Kevin, XOXO with a heart. Kevin says, The great profile, LOL. Thanks, friends, for the kind likes, XOXO Kevin. And then Mary Elizabeth responds, My baby, XOXO. T. Hank, we all know T. Hank, responds to Mary saying, He is such a lucky man to have a sweet lady like you. And Mary Elizabeth responds with a smile. Now here's where we get into the real weirdo shit. These posts are creepy and it makes it look like Kevin took classes at the Matthew Tatum School of Comedy. This is borderline pedophile shit. I'm not saying Kevin is a pedophile, but what I'm saying is these posts are enough of an eyebrow raiser that I would be keeping an extra eye on my kids if Kevin was around them. There's a decent amount of these posts too. I'm going to start off with the less creepy ones first, then we'll crank the Magic Matt dial up a notch. I'm still at a New Year's party from last night. I need advice. Does sharing a marijuana cigarette with a bunch of high schoolers put me at risk for coronavirus? They're children and all immune, right? LOL. No, Kevin. What that does is put you in line to get a charge for contributing to the delinquency of a minor and a drug charge. It might also have Chris Hansen come by and ask why you're hanging around doing drugs with minors. Even Kevin says they're children. How the fuck do you even think this type of shit up unless you've got smoking weed with kids on your brain? Questionable. I asked a bunch of young boys if I could talk to them about the facts of life. The 13-year-old said, "Sure, Kevin, what do you want to know?" LOL. Kevin, no 13-year-old boy wants to talk to your boomer ass about the facts of life. What the fuck do you even have in common with a 13-year-old to talk to them about? Thanks for the LOL again to know that you're trying to be funny. I doubt this is a joke though. I can see Kevin doing this in real life. I like Johnny Depp. What's not to like about a 60-year-old man who still looks like a teenage boy and is the focus of preteen crushes around the world? LOL. Yeah, what's not to like about a man who looks like a boy and gets all the preteens excited? I can tell you that unless you're on a registry, this wouldn't enter your mind as a reason to like Johnny Depp. I met a young woman and her mother at the pool. Trouble is, I like the girl, but her mom likes me. What would Woody Allen do? Here's one thing that needs to be pointed out. This is just my experience with the English language, but girl is often used to describe a female who is very young to late teens. Then you would call the female a woman. Kevin uses these two interchangeably, which makes his stuff weird. As a 63-year-old man, Kevin should not be posting about being attracted to girls. He should be talking about mature grown women. You could, if you felt like he deserved it, give him the benefit of the doubt that the young woman he was describing was in her 20s, until he brings up Woody Allen. For those of you who don't know, Woody Allen was a Hollywood figure who was accused of molesting a 12-year-old in August of 1992. So Kevin is going to do what the pedophile would do. Considering they're at a pool or water park, he could have just texted Magic Matt. He's got a lot of experience there. I don't know why you would joke about following the advice of a pedophile on your attraction to females, but clearly Kevin has no problem with it. There's too many kids in this tub. There's too many elbows to scrub. I just watched a behind that I know isn't mine. There's too many kids in this tub. Do I even need to say anything about this? Beyond creepy, weird, and Tatum-esque. I swam over to a 5-year-old girl and she replied, "I don't want to play with you. I just want to play with girls." So do I, LOL. Okay, Kevin. So creeping on some kid wanting to play with them. But imagine that. She doesn't want to play with a 60-year-old. But don't worry, Kevin isn't deterred. He wants to play with 5-year-old girls, so I'm sure he'll find one willing to around the pool. Wonders why the cute 4 and 5-year-old contestants on Toddlers and Tiaras all have mothers that obviously wouldn't make the runway at a Victoria's Secret fashion show, LOL. I don't know what he's referring to as the, quote, cute girls on those beauty pageant shows. They're children who are dressed up to look like adult women. It's fucking weird, and that's why the shows are so controversial. To me, only pedophiles are watching that show and enjoying what they see. So, why are you watching, Kevin? Oh yeah, that's right, for the, quote, cute girls. My last dentist had a saber-toothed tiger, dodo bird, and peregrine falcon mounted on his waiting room. It was so bad I couldn't concentrate on my highlights for Children magazine, LOL. Why is Kevin reading children's magazines? Is it so he has something to talk about to the 13-year-olds he's trying to smoke weed with? Pokemon? I'd rather kiss girls instead. I was out with my favorite twins at Golden Corral. They weren't the twins in The Shining, nor the twins riding motorcycles in the Guinness Book of World Records, LOL. Kevin's favorite set of twins is the 6-year-old girls in The Shining, and he's taking them out to dinner. Not weird at all. I don't know how kissing girls, which I'm presuming means minors given the mention of minor children at dinner with him, and Pokemon have to do with the rest of that post, but that's just Kevin's witty humor. We're too stupid to get it. I bought a new computer, but now must destroy the old computer's hard drive. The duplicity and perversion that is my inner turmoil must never get into the wrong hands, LOL. Yeah, after seeing all these posts, I can only imagine that Kevin's hard drive getting into what he calls the, quote, wrong hands would lead him to being, to quote Gigi, thrown in a padded prison cell. That's all I'm going to show for now. There's more creepy stuff, but I'd be here all day if I showed them all. We'll lighten the mood a little bit and go to the segment where Kevin is talking shit about the goons. Kevin posts all give off this aura about how much better he is than the trolls and stuff. He posts about us on Facebook more than he gets brought up in the GG scene. Remember, this is a man who claims, like George, trolls don't bother him and he's superior to them. But when Marty called up a radio show Kevin was on back in 2016, Kevin almost cried and was shaking once he realized that Marty was pranking him and the coast wouldn't cut Marty off. Bitch made shit. I delete, unfriend, play the fool, humiliate others, etc. every day. Nothing on the internet having to do with me upsets me. My real life is all that matters. Keep reading and laughing from Kevin XOX. Yeah, keep this post in mind as we continue. Kevin doesn't care, but he's still going to take the time to read what we have to say about him and post about it. Doesn't seem like the actions of someone who doesn't care what a bunch of trolls think about him, does it? And wow, that sounds extremely similar to what a specific fat, dumb rapist constantly says. My internet haters said all we know about Kevin is that he was born in New York City in 1974. Other than that, we know very little else. But he's an enigma. A thinly wrapped one, lol. Not true, Kevin. Thanks to George, we know a lot of things about you. Like the fact you take Viagra, live in Section 8 housing, are 63 and still peddling insurance, and the world's biggest attention whore. You also weren't born in 1974, so the fact we know that alone nullifies your dumb post. I'm reading what the trolls are saying about me. They are so united in their mutual hatred, they probably wear matching socks and underwear, lol. I sat for a few minutes trying to think of something to say about this, but it's just so goddamn lame. There's nothing to say, besides Kevin thinks about a bunch of men and wonders what underwear we have on. Kevin, there's no such thing as an anti-GG blog. Also, no troll in the history of trolling George has ever said you look like a punk rock Regis Philbin. I honestly don't even know what that means since I never saw Regis without a suit on. And I doubt even half of the people watching this even know who Regis Philbin was. I don't know why Kevin makes up fake insults about himself, attributes it to us, and then tries to make a lay-lol funny out of it. I don't get clothes at yard sales, Kevin, but I'm not going to take a fashion advice from someone who dresses like this. To quote Caddyshack, this is the worst suit that I've ever seen. I bet you get a free bowl of soup with something like this. Oh, but it looks good on you though. I'm laughing uproariously on YouTube comments about what a jerk I am. Still, I'd kiss the last ugly girl in America before I debate these GED dropout purity ring graduates. Kevin, you would not last 10 minutes in a debate with me. Not that it matters, you don't have the balls to do it in the first place. That's the thing about Kevin. He sits on Facebook and talks shit, but deletes comments on his YouTube videos and doesn't let people leave public comments on his Facebook. I always laugh at George and Kevin's assumption that all the trolls are lonely loser virgins. There are a lot of people in the Discord alone who have more than Kevin has, namely a wife, kids, and a house that doesn't belong to the government. Kevin might as well have dropped out of GED. Do you even need a GED to sell insurance and make minimum wage? Kevin, why don't you come on the podcast and tell me? Here's one of Kevin's lame-ass bit strips things that he did all the time and still does to this day. It says, I never knew, Kevin, all of your haters on the internet would stand in line just for the opportunity to boo you. And you know what's funny about this post? The goons did stand in line at Kevin's door to boo him, and Kevin hid inside his Section 8 apartment like a bitch. Say what you want about Roger, but at least Roger had the balls to answer and confront the goons. All Kevin and George, for that matter, did was hide. Why are you so afraid of a bunch of GED dropout and purity ring graduates, Kevin? Something wrong? I have miserable pity for the internet goons who waste their youth in their stepdad's basements. They should frolic in the sheep meadow and find their true loves, lol. Kevin needs to leave his taxpayer-funded apartment, stop looking for gal pals at the local slow folks home, and go frolic himself. How is this person who is single at 63, never married, possible virgin, going to tell someone else to go frolic and find true love in a condescending way? I spent the weekend meeting and greeting fans of the Gorgeous George show. I don't know what these haters do in their spare time, but one thing's for sure, it ain't sit-ups, lol. Again, like I just said, Kevin seemed pretty intimidated by a bunch of haters who can't do a single sit-up last year at GoonCon. Also, I would love for Kevin to film himself trying to do one sit-up. I bet he couldn't even make it halfway up. Dude looks like if you pushed him into a wall, he'd shatter like glass. My message to all my friends on the internet: my world is so much more than iPhones, Facebook, and the internet. I suggest you stop counting likes and obsessing over comments. Please return to traveling, dating, reading books, and visiting people. Happy 2024 from Kevin. This post is funny because it came right after Captain Corpulence left a comment on one of Kevin's videos, George saw it and blew up on Kevin and the captain. Kevin doesn't care about what the trolls have to say about him, but he cares enough to dedicate his 19th Facebook post about the day to us. That does it for the trolls. There's a lot of shit about Kevin that can't be summed up in those previous topics, and they're worth mentioning. For example, I cut my date short tonight. I asked her if she wanted to come to my place, and she said, sure, I don't think I have anything to worry about. I kind of wish she did, lol. This is a really bizarre thing to say. For one, if you cut the date off, why are you asking her to go back to your place? I guess the answer is obvious, right? Kevin has never had a date go home with him despite asking, so he wouldn't know the difference. I'm more concerned about Kevin wishing women had things to worry about going home with him. So Kevin wants them to worry that he's going to rape and or murder them? I'm really confused. Kevin, why don't you come on the podcast and explain all this stupid shit that you've said? We all need clarification. My tips on inheriting winning a lot of money: 1. Pay in full a house and car. 2. Save the rest in IRA, 401k, bank, and continue to live your life as you always did. Same friends, job, and family, lol. This is one of the funniest and least self-aware things that he's posted. Keep in mind, Kevin is poor and lives in rent-controlled apartments, aka welfare housing. Men at his age should be getting ready to retire with some money tucked away. I'm not sure why Kevin addressed these as tips to winning or inheriting money either. They don't have anything to do with getting lucky. But Kevin would know something about inheriting money and getting lucky off his parents. What are you, Kevin? This one and the next one are funny as they point to a common theme on Kevin's wall: sexually ambiguous posts. I'm in the locker room every day, and we men never talk trash about women or sex. When there are naked men in all directions, you'd be surprised how little we want to talk about, lol. Kevin, I don't know why you're in random locker rooms every single day just to look at naked men, but we don't want to know about it, and I'm sure that Mary Elizabeth doesn't either. Not that you care whether she does or not. Kevin says, ladies, please stop introducing me to other single male friends of yours for playdates. No woman has ever found me a better friend than I can find one myself. And then another guy responds to him, I think they think you're gay. This is great. Kevin outs himself. Kevin, it's okay. Come out of the closet. We can already tell just by the way you dress. No one will judge you. Just stop lying to the world, yourself, and especially Mary Elizabeth. I was thinking about a roller skate rink of my teen years, a wonderful place to exercise and date until it got overrun by the neighborhood delinquents. Also, the concept of couple skates that consisted of a boy and girl, 2 girls, but not 2 boys. What in the hell was the homophobia of these enlightened 1970s? For gays and basic humanity, things have gotten better. I love you all, from Kevin XOX. For those of you that don't know, Kevin is a bleeding heart liberal. Unless it's about Israel, then he's redder than a MAGA rally. He's always harping on causes, LGBTQ, BLM, etc. The funny thing about this post is that Kevin doesn't really seem to have a problem calling David Bowie an F-slur on the Christmas radio show that George put up, and Kevin doesn't exactly seem to mind George's constant insults towards others, whether for race, sexuality, religion, you name it. Such a progressive guy. Before we wrap this up, I wanted to make a quick note about this in the end, that the thing that really shows Kevin for who he is, a spineless coward weasel, is him standing by George and his refusal to decry anything George said, despite how heinous. Kevin sat and laughed as George made a joke about coming in a 12-year-old girl's mouth. He watched as Jamie, back in 2015, laying on a couch in the studio, sick as hell from drugs, asking George if she's alright, but George poo-pooed her to stay quiet because he knew the trolls were watching, and Kevin just didn't care after that. When Jamie was in the hospital, George wasn't allowed to go, so Kevin pretended to be Jamie's dad at the hospital entrance so he could go and talk to Jamie on behalf of George. Is that not creepy and shitty? Jamie had a hard enough time getting away from George, and now George's quote friends are helping his harassment and stalking of her. And you know what? I hope Kevin sees this. I hope he mans up and comes on the podcast. George is my email, Kevin. You can get it from him. You don't have the balls, though. All he's going to do is make some passive-aggressive jab at the trolls with an LOL on top of a bitch strip character on Facebook. Because at the end of the day, Kevin is, to quote himself, sad. Just very sad. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time.